Okay, so for some reason I'm having fun creating text tutorials, but anyway, let's go ahead and create the one that you just saw. So I'm going to select the text tool here, left click on my canvas, and let's type text, but you can type whatever you want. Let me actually make this all caps, click OK, and I'm going to just move this over here where we can see it. Alright, so now that we have our text, the next thing that we need to do is right click over here in the layers panel, go to new layer, example, and then we need to select our metaballs. Now the metaballs at first glance appear pretty useless, but they aren't. So let's go ahead and show you exactly that they aren't useless. Now in the properties of the metaball, I am going to select positive only here, so I'm going to turn that on, and once we turn that on, we're able to move our metaballs wherever we need to, like so. Then I'm going to go to the gradient here, I'm going to right click, and I'm going to convert this to a stripes. So we can move these anywhere that we want. We can move them into each other to get some pretty cool effects, like so. Okay, now to manipulate the metaball even further, we can go to the radii or radii, however you want to pronounce that. And here we see item 1, item 2, item 3. Now these are referring to these 3 points here. So if we alter the values, we will see it update here. So let me change this to maybe 1, and we can see that going on there. We could change this to maybe 3, and we see the effect that it's having on the metaball there. So I'm gonna change these all to 2.5, 2.5, 2.5. And let's go ahead and line this up over our text here. Okay, so however you want to put it onto your text, that's entirely up to you. Just make sure that you have most of your text area covered. All right, now our metaball is pretty small. We could scale this up and to cover the entire text area, or we could duplicate the metaball and have 2 sets of metaballs. So actually I'm just going to move these side by side here, and I'm going to move these over into the center here. Okay, so I'm now going to scale this up. So I'm going to go here to item 1. Let me change this to 3, 3, 3 instead of 2.5. And that's because I want it to cover the entire surface area here of the text. And maybe I'll go even higher. So maybe 4, 4, and 4. And see what that looks like. Okay, so I'm just move this over like so. Alright, to get a very cool pattern, let me zoom out here and see what we have. Alright, so that is looking okay. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to group the metaball and the text together. And then I'm going to select the metaball here. And I'm going to switch the blend method from composite to alpha over. So now we see it as engulfed the text, and we can see the different areas that are cut out of the text here. And if we should turn off the background, we would have that cool pattern right there. So let's go ahead and animate this now. So I'm going to select the metaball here, turn on the animate button. I'm going to come here to the keyframe properties, but I'm going to delete this initial keyframe. As usual, I don't like to use those keyframes there. And I'm going to go back to the properties panel here, and let me come to the very first frame here. And what I want to do is go to radii, and let me just add some keyframes here. So I'm just going to change the values here for a sec to add some initial keyframes, and then I'm going to change them back to 4, 4, 4. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate all these keyframes all the way down here to the end. So I'm going to click on the duplicate there, move this down to there, like so. So we have the same keyframes from beginning to end, and that's so we can have a perfect loop. Now all I need to do here is just to go in between here, and we can alter the values to see the movement. So maybe this would be 3.8, 3.4, and we can insert whatever values that we want, but I'm just going to stick to 3s, so 3.0, and I'm going to move down here. Let's see what we have here. So I'm going to change this to maybe 3.6, and this one to 3, and this one to maybe 3.1. Right, and we can go as high or as low as we want. So I'm going to just change this to maybe 2.9, 2.9, 2.9, enter, and we can space them out however we want, but I'm going to leave them as is, and I'm going to pre-render this, and then let's see what we have. I'm going to press the spacebar key, and we have that cool animated pattern going on there. Now, the more time you spend with this is the better it will look, right? So we could go in and make this even better and even more seamless. But I'll leave it like that. Now, cool thing that you could do with this is you could scale this all up. Let me turn off the animate button. We could scale this to fit the entire canvas, or most of the canvas here, something like that. And then we could use the group and change the composite to alpha over, right? So then we have that nice pattern overlaid on the background, and then maybe we could change the background color so you could see this even better, so something like that. And then you could have like an image underneath it, or a video or whatever, to get that cool pattern going on. Okay, so that's it for this video, and I will see you in the next one.